Hey compadres, comadres, this is Renee again with the continuation of this pipe. Now, as you guys can see, what I've done now is I've completely reamed the bowl, and for the bowl, eventually I actually did have to use my rotary tool with this, I don't know what you would call that, but with that. And yeah, I had to use that. I mean, there was way too much caking. I mean, I would have still been working on it had I not used that. So eventually, I had to use that after using all this and all this and this, and I mean just a whole bunch of stuff. And this made easy work of it, and the bowl is completely clean. It's not scratched in the least bit. So this just makes life a lot easier. So after that, as you can see, I've cleaned the rim, and I actually used the 400 grit to sand the whole bowl and the whole pipe itself. Actually, I sanded it down with 400 grit, and then I buffed it a little bit with the buffing wheel. I didn't put any compound on it, any type of compound on it. It's got the Red Rouge wheel that I use, and I just used that. And basically, that was just to clean the pipe up more, give it a little bit of shine, just to see where all the grain was originally, before it got stained and everything. And that's what I did. Now the rim here, of course, I used the very abrasive 150 fine, but still it's a 150 grit. So of course it left some scratch marks, but those scratch marks came off with 400 grit. So it's now really smooth. I guess if you really were to look into it, I guess you could find some scratch marks, but I actually yeah, I guess there are some, but they're very fine, and those will come out with the 600 and the 800 grit sandpaper. So it's really not that it's not a big deal in the least bit. So now what I'm going to do here is, as you guys can see, it's got those fills there. They're not actually very ugly. Actually, they're kind of nice, but it's a fill, and it looks like a fill. So, plus the grain is just all over the place. So I'm not too concerned with the grain here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rusticate, and I'm going to leave the rim smooth and rusticate pretty much kind of like the whole pipe. I would say probably up to there, maybe. I don't know. Like I said, I never know what I'm going to do until I'm in the middle of it. So what I'm going to use is my rotary tool, and with a little bit. This is actually a very rough burr kind of bit. I hope you can see. You can't see it. So it's very rough. It's my first time using it, but I think what it's going to do, it's going to make an actual big rustication instead of very fine, small rustication, which I will in turn use to create some sort of pattern for this pipe. Maybe it'll look different. Hopefully it will, but maybe not. So that's what I'm going to start doing now, and let me just show you guys how I go about starting this. I use an old glove, safety first, because what I do is I don't put my, I don't put the pipe on a clamp and do it that way. That's the easiest way. That's the safest way. Once again, guys, what I'm showing you here is just the way that I do things. It's not an instructional video, and I'm not trying to say that this is the way you should do it. Not at all. This is just the way I do it, and I'm just showing you how I do it. But in no way am I saying that this is the right way of doing things, or the only way of doing things. Not at all. But it works for me, and you guys have seen the results, so it actually does work, period. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my gloves on, just to show you right away before I run out of time here. And I'm going to show you pretty much the way I start. And hopefully this is going to work on camera. Never done it on camera, and I need to go against the tripod here, which is not a good idea. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to start and just work my way around and just start in one area and just, since I'm going to leave the top alone, I'm going to start off at the very edge. Whoa, sorry guys. This is probably not going to be a good idea, but I'll try it. Here we go. Now, as you guys can see, the pattern that I'm going with, there is no set pattern at all, and this right here is all going to change. I'm just putting holes in it, but it's going to change. What you do is, what I do is I rusticate this way, and it looks like that, and then I go back in and I rusticate it again, and change the rustication look, and that's pretty much the way that I, rusticate some of my pipes. Some others I do in a different way. It all depends on what I have with me. I'm sorry, this thing is crooked. But, depending on what I want to do with the pipe, that's the way I do it. So, anyway, guys, well, I guess I will see you guys in the next video after I'm done, and see how this actually has turned out. Alright, compadres, as always, thank you for watching. Y vayan con Dios.